On Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Royden Roach, All India President, Catholic Union Telangana, is joining us along with Gokul Chandran, political analyst, lawyer Deshratan Nigam, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. If the Gita is okay, why isn't the Bible? Sanju Verma.
First and foremost, I think Mr. B.C. Nagesh, the Karnataka Education Minister, has summed up the entire controversy very lucidly when he says, at the cost of being highly unpopular, that the Bible at the end of the day is a holy book. It's a holy scripture. Bhagavad Gita teaches you the values of life. So please don't compare Bhagavad Gita with the Quran or the Bible. Bible, they owe their allegiance to Abrahamic religions, whereas Sanatan Dharma is secular by nature. I say this at the cost of being highly unpopular amongst a certain section which always wants to be playing the victim card. Secondly, there is a very important difference. What did Clarence High School in East Bengaluru tell? It did not tell people and students that we will teach you the life and teachings of Jesus Christ, which is fine. You can teach about Swami Vivekananda. You can teach about the good parts of Quran. The school said you're mandated to attend the scripture class after your morning class, and you're mandated to carry the Bible with you, and your parents need to give a written undertaking that you have no problem carrying the Bible to school and attending the scripture class. There's a difference between saying we will teach you stuff from the Bhagavad Gita, and there's a completely different dimension to the entire thing when you say we are not just teaching you about Jesus Christ. We are asking you to carry the Bible with you unabashedly and attend a full-blown scripture class, which is a way of soft peddling conversion into the classroom.
So now the second part of your argument has been laid to bed, because already the Archdiocese has said that because the majority students were from the Christian community, this was made mandatory, and when there were non-Christian students last year itself, this particular circular was withdrawn and it was not made mandatory for them. Now, Gokul Chandran, it is about spirituality, one book, and the other one is about religion per se. In Hinduism, there is not a book which tells you that if you do not go by this book, you cease to be a Hindu. It is more of a spiritual lesson of life. And like I said earlier, a TED talk, if you will.
Yeah, good evening, Padmaja. In this case, I want to be very, very neutral. Let it be Holy Bible, let it be Quran, let it be Bhagavad Gita. I don't think any of the scriptures has to do anything with our
education, schools or students. All these fictional stories should be kept away from students, because all these things, they poison actually. It is like poison.
Really?
So it should be kept away from students. And if you are really concerned about the good things about these books, take all the good preachings from these books and make a separate book. And maybe when you have your moral class, what you call that moral science class, when you have that, you mix everything and teach them.
Sir, you know, when you speak of learning of the Bhagavad Gita as poison, there were some people who were not wise enough to have heeded your advice, and maybe now it's too late for them. Sunita Williams was one who says, I took the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad to space to derive inspiration from them. These books enlightened me about what I was doing and why I was doing things, and showed me the purpose of life. Inspiration from the Gita helps to keep the person grounded. If only she knew that this earthly poison she was carrying to space.
Once you have that maturity to choose what you want and what you have to discard, not to the students. The students studying in schools and colleges at that raw mind, this thing shouldn't be injected into their mind.
Then would you also say, and because I went to a convent, I can tell you that we have moral science classes. Should they also be removed?
No, let there be moral science classes.
Why?
Let the preachings be there. Preachings from Gita, preachings from
Why
Quran.
should the preachings in the moral
Bible.
science classes remain? But the Bhagavad Gita, which also is about morality, is poison?
No, that's what I'm telling. Why only Bhagavad Gita? Take every good thing from every book and teach people.
I thought now you said Bhagavad Gita is poison and nobody should study it anywhere.
No, I'm not talking about the Bhagavad Gitas. I'm talking about the Bhagavad Gita as whole. The story behind that, the war behind that. I'm telling, just go by the preachings of Bhagavad Gita.
With the greatest respect, I say, sir, I am beginning to lean towards the fact that you haven't read the Bhagavad Gita, because it is not so much about the war. It is about one very specific episode in the larger Mahabharata, where a conflicted Arjun says, what do I do, Parth, because I am faced by my own brothers. But anyway, this is not a theological lesson. That being said...
No, Padmaja, I'll tell you. When you talk about Bhagavad Gita, you are talking about Lord Krishna.
Yes.
Isn't it right?
Yes.
Why you want to say Lord Krishna? Why you want to say it as Lord Krishna's teachings? You say it is a moral lesson. Don't bring in Lord Krishna there. That's what I want to say.
I don't really know what is supposed to... Why can't you talk about Lord Krishna? What is this? There was one person who said that, Parth, you listen to me. But you're not supposed to name Lord Krishna even if you're talking about the Bhagavad Gita.
Someone will say we'll talk about Allah. Why all these things? Why all this drama and nautangi? Forget everything. Forget all these religious people, religious heads, all those things, and just take out the moral things out of Gita.
Okay.
Many things.
What do you make of this argument, Deshratan Nigam, that have the best of all religions, instead of having one moral science class, maybe have a spiritual learning class or a personal development class where you take from everything, a little bit from Jainism, from Buddhism, from Islam, from Guru Granth Sahib, from the Gita also?
Padmaja, in fact, let me put it in a different manner. There should be comparative study of religion at the school level itself. We must know what is good and bad in every religion, so that people can make out the informed choice, the decision. That is what the previous panelist was saying. It is not that stage they are unable to choose or decide. Therefore, people have to be aware what is good or bad in every religion. And then they should be able to choose which is the best way of life. That is what I prefer, one. Secondly, so far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, or any of our scriptures, they do not make distinction of human beings between Christians or non-Christians, or Muslims or non-Muslims. That distinction is not there in any of our scriptures. In fact, Bhagavad Gita makes a distinction on the basis of karma, good action and bad action among the human beings, irrespective of the faith that follow. I leave it for your viewers to choose which one is better. Now, Bhagavad Gita is a science of self, knowing itself. Anybody who has read, whether it is Emerson, Einstein, Oppenheimer, or Nikola Tesla, or T.S. Eliot, they all have said it makes you a positive thinker. It cures your depression. It gives you clarity of thought.
But doesn't the Bible also do that? That is the argument. Doesn't the Bible also do that? Then why object to the Bible being taught in Clarence?
No. I'm not saying Bible should not be. I said comparative study of all the religions based on the textbooks and the scriptures should be taught. Okay. That's what I'm saying. But
Sanju Verma, then you answer that. Even Deshratan Nigam is saying that there should be a comparative study. Why oppose the Bible then? Let all students even study the Bible.
Padmaja, as you said, okay, I'll come to that. You said you studied in a convent and, you had a moral science class. So did I. I studied in a convent. I had a moral science class. And more importantly, a day started with this Christian hymn, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven, give us this day our daily bread, blah, blah, blah. None of us objected because there was nothing overtly religious about the entire hymn. But when you tell people carry the Bible, carry the scripture with you, it is blatantly religious. And I'll tell you why it differs from the Bhagavad Gita or the Mahabharata for that matter. India's Foreign Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, I think he summed up very beautifully when he said in one of his famous speeches that, be it Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita, the reason why they are so contemporary even today after centuries is because they basically talk about inclusivity, holistic governance, valor, loyalty, and the Mahabharata actually tells you that a nation that doesn't honor its past does not have a future. Now, what does the Bible tell you? What does the Quran tell you? These are scriptures that basically tell you, particularly the Quran, for example, there's only one God. He's omnipresent. He's omniscient. That's Allah. The Bible is overtly, extrovertly, introvertly. There's nothing non-religious about it.
And
let me tell you,
one talks about inclusivity, the other talks of exclusivity. Believers and non-believers. Which is why the problem.
Padmaja, in Bible, if you go through...
See, coming to the holy books, whether it be the Quran, the Bible, or even let it be the Bhagavad Gita, okay, the Mahabharata, these books are something which give you more knowledge. And as even yesterday what I said also, on your thing, the last time when I spoke to you also, I said, see, let everyone know about the other religion, other faith. Let us learn. So there's no harm in having you reading the Bible. See, as a Catholic school, you're the principal, that you have something as catechism classes for the Christian children. The same thing, they even encourage for the non-Christians also to know about. But nobody's forcing you and asking you to become a Christian. No. It's only to tell you exactly what is the Bible about, what is Christianity about.
But what do you make of the distinction that is being drawn? That Bible is specifically about religion because it is a religious book, as opposed to Hinduism, which doesn't have a religious book. So this is one of many. You have the Upanishads, you may read them, you may not read them. You have the Bhagavad Gita, you may read it, you may not read it. You may even have the Mahabharata, read it, do not read it.
But there is no compulsion that a child must have to do it.
But as a practicing Christian, one has to read the Bible, apparently.
You have a clear clarification given that it's not a compulsion.
May I quickly
come in? It's not a compulsion. If the child wants to take it up, or the parent wants it, they can give an undertaking and take it. Because why they have taken an undertaking? Because these
Padmaja, quick rebuttal, please.
Okay.
That was the main thing.
Quick rebuttal from Sanju Verma, then Gokul Chandran. Quick rebuttal, Sanju Verma.
Okay. Padmaja, one very important thing that we need to mention is that if you're a minority institution, if you're a minority Christian school or Muslim school, then under Article 29 and 30 you are given some rights and you have the right to propagate a religious message subject to checks and balances. But Clarence School has not yet clarified whether it is a minority institution. Point number one. Point number two, under the Karnataka State Education Act of 1983-84, which Mr. B. Nagesh, the Education Minister, also made a reference to, a no objection certificate is given by the state government, whereby the school or the institution clearly says we will not impart religious teachings during the course of the classes. Now tell me, did Clarence School sign an undertaking that it will not impart religious teachings? Yes. After that, it was given a no objection certificate. After you get the no objection certificate, you throw the NOC and the rule book out of the window and you say my way or the highway. Ye to nahi chalega. Are you a minority institution under Article 29-30? No. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Even if you're a minority institution, there are limitations to the rights you enjoy subject to public order, morality and health.
Let me clarify to you. See, the school, when the school started, there was nothing more than certification. So even the education minister doesn't have the knowledge about it. Let me tell you, there's no NOC given to the school on that basis. The school doesn't have any NOC of that type of certificate. So when the education minister is trying to put
the school has a NOC or not?
No, it is only a new institution.
Does Clarence School have a NOC or not? After getting the NOC, how can it start imparting religious teachings and make Bible mandatory?
Do not have an NOC like this.
When you took the NOC, you said we will not impart religious teachings. You can't have my way or the highway attitude. You are a practicing Christian. You are mandated to convert others. As a practicing Hindu, I am not mandated to convert others to Hinduism. That is the basic difference between Sanatan Dharma and Abrahamic religions. We are not mandated to convert. You are mandated to convert.
You have to understand that. You have to understand. The school didn't
if you lie.
Okay, just a second. Now, just a second. As far as that legal point of the case is concerned, the clarification has been given and the school itself has rolled back the entire order and that circular. The point now, and the sticking point now, is the objection to acceptance of the Bhagavad Gita as opposed to objection to the Bible. Royden Roach, to the specific issue of Bible versus Bhagavad Gita, would you agree that the comparison does not hold because the nature of the two and the teachings of the two are very different?
See, I agree with you that both the teachings are completely different. Both the books are completely different. But end of the day, let me tell you something. Does the Bible teach you against violence? Does it teach you against violence at all? Is there any violence mentioned in it? There's nothing of that in it.
No, it is not about violence. The fundamental question is it about exclusion of other languages, of other religions, as opposed to the Gita, which only talks about co-opting and life lessons as it were?
Who has objected to it? Who has objected to it? The school has never objected to it. He said there was compulsion on some of our schools where they wanted to put a statue of Saraswati and have Saraswati Puja in it. You know that very well, and even Times have taken up the issue when it happened in the north.
No, sir, nobody has objected to it. What the Archbishop has objected to today is why there is a preferential treatment given to the Gita when there were specific objections raised to the Bible. Gokul Chandran. At the end of the day, it all boils down to that.
That's a valid question, isn't it? When you say no to Bible, say no to Quran and say no to Bhagavad Gita also. See, all our religions teach good things. All our religions speak about peace. But the different interpretations make all these religions a violent religion. The extremism, the religious extremism.
Sir, what are you talking about? We're talking about the book in particular. Name me one part of the Gita which speaks of religious extremism.
You were laughing when you thought I don't know about Bhagavad Gita because I am proud about it. I am proud that I don't know about any of these books.
I'm not doubting it at all. And I'm not even going to ask you to quote even one part of the Bhagavad Gita. All I'm saying is that for you to say that the Bhagavad Gita promotes extremism makes me a little shaky in my belief that you know of the Gita. That's all. And what it stands for. That is all.
That is the way of life. That is what they want to learn. Let rest of everything, their parents will be teaching them at their homes. Let them learn from their parents, the moral lessons. Let them learn from their parents. Let school stay away from all this moral.
Then why do even minority institutions have study of the Bible? Abhi, you said that it's okay for a minority institution to have institute Bible study, for there to be study of the Quran in the madrasas. But now you're like, no. But when it comes to the Gita should be taught by parents at home. That is again a double standard on your part.
If they wish, let them teach. Otherwise, let them teach Karl Marx or Das Kapital or whatever they want.
Why? Why should you be taught Karl Marx also? Marxism also is an ideology of one kind. Maybe a person is vehemently opposed to Marxism. Why should their child be taught Marxism in school?
No, I didn't tell that.
In fact, Marxism almost you call it a religion of another kind.
Let the parents teach them. Let the parents teach them whatever they want at home, not in schools.
Why even have a school? Let the parents even teach them history in that case. Anyway, this is an argument we can go on and on about, but that is the whole point, that there is always space for a healthy discussion and a healthy debate. Can you draw a comparison between a religious study and a study of spirituality in the hope of that eternal discussion? Thanks very much, all gentlemen. Sanju Verma for joining me. You, of course, the viewer, remain the best judge. Thanks for watching.